welcome back. So how are you today? How have you been? How are you finding the videos? Is there anything resonating with you yet? So in this video, I wanted to discuss something that has happened very, very recently. And that is that one of my subscribers has become very upset with me because he found out that my name isn't really Hollie Belle. And so I thought I would dedicate a video just to this topic. If there are others out there that are going to be feeling this way, I think it's very important to address it here. So let's start out with, okay, how this all came about. So, when I wrote my very first book, Your Past is a Gift, originally I only made 3 manuscripts. And that Christmas that book was complete, I handed out those 3 manuscripts to family members. That's all I thought that book was going to be. Just information for 3 people. For me, that whole year that I spent creating this book completely changed my life. Just absolute, shift in perspective, thanks to that beautiful book. After that Christmas, and I handed out those 3 manuscripts, there was something in me that kept saying I needed to publish it. I needed to create a proper book, not just hand it out to the people closest to me, not just have a copy that would be for my daughter, that I was passing on my knowledge to her when she grew up, if she wanted it. It was about reaching a larger audience with this information. I was being guided that this was for more than just a handful of people. More people were going to need this information. And so I followed that guidance, which at the time I didn't realize I had a whole spirit team. This all came much later, but they were already leading me down this path that I needed to publish it and that it needed to be available to more people. If they want it, it's there. So I sought out a publishing house called Balboa Press. They help you self-publish. And I went through them, and the very first thing that they did was that they asked me to change all the names of the people in the book, because it was my life story that I was sharing in this book. It's an autobiography. So the first thing they did was they asked me to change the names of all the people in the book, including mine. And they asked me to change all the names of the locations to keep it more like an anonymous story that you're sharing. The information, the knowledge that was gained is still the same. Just because the names have been changed or the names of the location are changed, the information, the events, the experiences that I went through in my life are the same. They don't change. And that's what was important, to share that information. But one of the very first things that they asked me to do, because it was an autobiography, was to choose a pen name. Authors, people that write books, that publish books, have what's called a pen name. It's your author name. It's the name that you use every time you publish a book. Now, if I'd have started with Covered in Yucky Mucky Mud, if I didn't have my autobiography, if this hadn't have taken place, or if I'd have kept this for myself, just for my family, and eventually Covered in Yucky Mucky Mud would have come out and that would have been the first book, then it would have been fine for me to have the name I was given when I was born. It didn't matter if I'd kept that name or not. But when you write an autobiography, they ask you to take on a pen name. Now, for a really long time, while I was doing my first YouTube channel, I felt like an imposter because it wasn't the name I was born with. So You know, Hollie Belle was the name I chose as an author. And over the weekend, as I was thinking about it, I felt like going through my life, I was this caterpillar. And the caterpillar had that name. It was given that name, just as caterpillar is the name of, you know, that insect that crawls along with all those spiky little hairs sticking up. And when that beautiful caterpillar transformed into a beautiful butterfly, which was my first awakening, that created all of this. It started with that first book and then kept moving on to all the other beautiful books. Butterfly is another name. Caterpillar was who I was. And butterfly is who I became through my awakening. So as I had that beautiful epiphany over the weekend, I saw it as, you know, it's so beautiful that I get to choose a name for my awakening. There are a lot of people out there that just change their name because they had a traumatic childhood and they don't want to carry that name. I mean, people change their name for a lot of different reasons. Actors all have different names. Singers all have different, they choose a stage name. You know, there are many, many, many different reasons why people choose to have a different name. But for me, and I know that for a lot of authors, because I've heard other people talk about the same thing, that have written books, that have been autobiographies, the publishers ask you to change your name. Now, the reason for this, for those of you who don't know anything about writing and publishing and everything that goes on with creating books and putting them out into the world, is that when you tell your life story isn't just you. You don't spend your whole life and it's just you. You don't have parents, you don't have siblings, there are a lot of other people that are involved in your story. A lot of other people. So to choose a pen name and to give all of these beautiful beings a different name is really to protect their privacy. Because just because I want to come out and share all the knowledge that I've gained doesn't mean that I should be pointing fingers at all the people that are involved. Because it's not about them. It's not their story. It's my story that I wanted to share. Now, there were a few things that came out of this, you know, as all of this unfolded over the weekend. And originally, you know, they were saying, you know, Hollie Belle isn't your real name. You have another name. And they were asking all these questions. And I was away for the weekend, which I did tell everyone on Friday in the live that we were going away to the beach for the weekend. And we rarely go away. So, you know, those 2 beautiful days that I did get to be with my family was so precious that I didn't check, you know. I would check first thing in the morning when they were all asleep, if there were any comments or messages I needed to respond to. But towards, you know, once they were all up, we were doing our thing. You know, I was being present with them, with my family. I was giving them my time. So I didn't get time to respond. And when I did come back, that person was very upset, you know. But what came out of the conversation was that they said that they couldn't trust me. They didn't say it with words, but I read into, they felt deceived, that they thought I was one person and that I'm not that person, if you know what I mean, just because my name's not what they thought it was. Anyway, it was all about not trusting. And that's what I wanted to bring out in this video. There are so many beautiful moments that we are gifted to look at what is going on with us. So many. You know, to be given that moment where you can sit with yourself and think, well, why don't I trust? You know? Why don't I trust? What is it that's trying to come up for me? in this moment, that I'm upset with this person because they told me that her name was Hollie Belle, and that's not her actual name. It's her author name. I never said in any of my videos, maybe the first 6 to 8 videos in the channel, I was introducing myself because people don't know me, that I am Hollie Belle. But I never said that that wasn't a pen name, or that that was my real name, or I never said anything about the actual name. I just said I'm Hollie Belle. And for the purposes of these beautiful videos, that's my name. That's who I am. It doesn't matter. To me, as I started this channel, I understood that I was here to be of service. And whichever name I had to take on to do that, it didn't matter. It doesn't matter if my name's Hollie. It doesn't matter if it's whatever. It doesn't matter if I don't have a name. If I can, like Prince, and decide I want to take on a symbol. You know, the singer. Remember when he used to take on a symbol, and then it became really difficult because, well, how do you name that person then? They have a symbol. Okay, here comes the singer, the symbol, you know? So to me, this channel is about being of service. It's not about me. It's not about me. My name does not matter. My name is irrelevant to the beautiful information that's coming through for you. It has nothing to do with me. And I know, you know, some people call me teacher on this channel. Some people call me guide. For me, the reality is that you placed these videos here at this particular time. Your soul knew that at this time in your life, the information that you need to move forward would be here. Whether it's the information about your spirit guides, whether it's the information about your higher self, whether it's just the information of your purpose. What is the direction? What is next? What am I meant to be doing with this beautiful life I've been gifted from Spirit? And the other beautiful thing that came through this beautiful subscriber was worried that sometimes he can see that there's hurt in my eyes, or pain, or however you want to call it. And to me, that is beautiful, that he can see that. Because if I was a guru sitting up on a mountain in complete peace, no worries in the world, I am the love, the light, everything, you wouldn't be able to resonate. We'd have nothing in common. The reason any of this can resonate with you is because you can see your own pain in my pain. You can see your own light in my light when I talk about the beautiful light that we are, the beautiful love that we are. But I am so clear that in this lifetime, I came to have this beautiful human experience. I came to enjoy all of it. The pain, the suffering, the joy, the love, the gratitude, all of it, without exception. All of it. I didn't come this lifetime to be the guru on the top of the mountain. That's not what this lifetime is about for me. I know that in this lifetime, I was to be of service. And I've known this since I was quite little. Because I remember being on the train and observing the people around me, just studying them, just observing. And when I saw that there was sadness, there was something in me that just wanted to go over to that person and hug them. And I'm talking about, you know, remembering, I would have been 6, 7, 8 years old, all those years. And I wanted to tell that person, it's okay. You're going to be okay. I know it. I wanted to hold their hand. I wanted to give them a hug. And so often I would sit on the train or on a bus and I would observe the people across from me, and I would wait and wait and wait until they would look back at me, and I would give them the biggest smile I could. And sometimes they smiled back. And I knew in that 1 second I'd connected, that a little bit of my light had been given to that person and reminded them that this beautiful light is in them as well. So I have always known that this was my calling. I just, for a long time, didn't know what that looked like. You know, how to serve. I didn't know how that looked. What it was that I was meant to do. But I followed. When guidance came, I followed. I followed the path. When they asked me to publish that first book, even though I had to change my name, I changed it because I knew that that was not what mattered. My name was irrelevant. It didn't matter. That was the ego trying to hold on. Oh, but that's me. That's me. That's my name. And for a long time, I was very uncomfortable saying I was Hollie Belle. A long time, for a few years there. But it's like this is the second chapter of my life. And how fitting for the second chapter to have a different title, if you will, to the first chapter. So if this is bringing up anything in you, sit with it today. How does it feel to find out that someone you've been following isn't who you thought they were? Or are they? Does it change anything today for you to know that this is my pen name, it's not my real name? Or not real name, just the name I was given when I was born. I didn't get to choose it. It was given to me by my parents. You know? Does it change anything? Does it change any of the information you've received so far? And if trust comes up, if you feel you can't trust because it feels like it's not the person I thought it was, then sit with that beautiful feeling. Allow it to talk to you. Why? Why can't you trust? What is it that's trying to come up? What events in your life have caused you to feel that you can't trust? And I know because I'm surrounded by this. My parents have stopped talking to me, and I have observed them my whole life with these trust issues, that if they get too close to someone, that person will disappoint them, they will let them down, they will hurt them. So before they even get to that stage, they already shut that person out. And to be honest, and this was the funniest thing that came up when I saw all those messages and then didn't even have a chance to respond, because I'm not sure if they unfriended or what they did, that then Facebook said I couldn't respond to that message. It's like they've blocked me somehow. And, you know, it reminded me that for most of my adult life, I couldn't wait to get married so that I could change my surname. I was so embarrassed of my family line, of what my parents were constantly doing with my aunts and my uncles, of shutting them out and not talking to them and getting offended and all of that. I was so embarrassed by their behavior that I couldn't wait to grow up and change my surname. That was always in my field, this rejection for my name. So it was funny that that came up that way. It reminded me of all those years that I was ashamed of my surname growing up. And that shame, you know, it's a lot of times these things are passed down by the grown-ups around us. It's not even our shame. It's just being passed down inadvertently. They don't even mean to, but they just do dump it on you because this is how they feel. There's a whole family thing going on with my parents, and grandparents and great-grandparents. It goes way back. There's a lot of things that my mum hasn't told me that I've found out recently of why there is this shame of carrying that name. So it's really funny that this has come up this way. But for these videos, I'm Hollie, and that's all you need to know. And I don't know if you've noticed, but when I talk about my daughter, I just say my daughter. And when I talk about my husband, I just say my husband. But I don't include them here because I'm respecting their privacy. You know, with my daughter, for those of us who are on our Facebook page, you know, of my other name, I haven't posted pictures of my daughter since she was about 2 years old, if not earlier than that. I can't remember when I stopped. And I felt for me that to keep just shoving photos of her on Facebook without her permission was disrespectful to her, because she doesn't have a say and they're her photos, you know. And then there came a time where she didn't like having photos taken. And I think that's where I got the idea that, oh, I shouldn't be posting up her photos everywhere because I don't have her permission. I don't know how she feels about it. And she was too little for me to ask her. You know, the same with my husband. If I'm going to post anything, I always ask permission. Can I post this? I don't just post it if he's in it, you know. For me, it's a sign of respect to them and their privacy. Just because I want to share my, you know, what I've gained, my knowledge, I was going to say, the information that I've been given, doesn't mean that they want to be a part of it. I don't want to force them to be in something they don't want to be in. That's them. They've got their own paths. This is mine. All right, my beautiful beings. So let me know in the comments what you think, how you feel today, now that you know this information. Has this brought up anything for you about your name, about your roots? Are we always curious? We're always interested to know. All right, my beautiful beings. So I can't even apologize because there's nowhere in the videos where I say that, you know, I don't have another name or that this isn't the name I was born with. It's just the name I chose to move forward with what I need to do, with what they've asked me to do. I've chosen this name, and to me it's more special. It's all the more special for that reason, because I got to choose it. It wasn't just given to me. It was something I got to choose. All right, my beautiful beings. I love you dearly. I love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And let us know what you think about today's video. What's come up for you? What thoughts? What feelings? What... We'd love to know. All right. Bye for now.